Today was a pretty brutal day for Bitcoin price, even though there was a lot of very great bullish Bitcoin news. And when you take a look at where Bitcoin dropped to 116,500 prior levels of support, we're going to look at that from a technical analysis standpoint, see if this is the perfect entry that you're looking for and what is in the books. Because when you take a look at Bitcoin today, there was a lot of really great news. And so a lot of this positive news, I think, is going to carry forward. And obviously, this is the last day of the month. So it's going to be interesting to see how things close out for July. Historically, July's always been a great month. We've seen Ethereum do extremely well in the month of July from a return standpoint. And we're going to see where Bitcoin stands and how it sets things up for August coming tomorrow. That said, all that and more in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Alex, provide you crypto daily updates. You're always in the know of what is going on in the crypto space. That way you can make the most informed decisions. If you enjoy content like that, consider following. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. So if you take a look at Bitcoin really in the last 24 hours, it's kind of really not moved a whole lot. Now, if you look at it in the last kind of 3 to 4 hours, there has been a substantial drop as we keep hitting resistance at 119,000, but yet find support at 116,500. And eventually, one of these is going to give. We're going to kind of break out of this channel. We'll take a look at this channel in just a second. But we are in the last day of July. Kind of crazy to think about it, but we are there. August is literally around the corner. And we take a look at Bitcoin monthly returns. July has been at 8.87%, which ironically is the exact median return of Bitcoin in its history in the month of July. So almost, it's crazy. It is exactly as it is right now. Now, obviously, it's maybe a couple of percentages off or point percentages off once things close. But it is kind of insane seeing how accurate this is on the average, which kind of maybe sets the pace for how things could be leading up into August. Now, when you take a look at this, we've had 4 green months in a row. June, not an insane amount. June was almost perfect there as far as a median. May, you look at April was a little bit better than the average. March, right on the money. February, a little bit different. And then January, also a little bit different. But ever since March, we have been almost hitting the exact median targets month to month, which could spell why we're seeing, could explain why we're seeing this correction right now heading into August, because historically, August is a month of corrections. Now, also one thing that we've not seen before, we've not seen 5 months in consistent green since 2017. And that's been a very, very, very long time. I mean, we're talking about 8 years ago, 2 cycles ago, that we saw 5 months post green. And so obviously 2017 was an insane year. That bull market as a whole was an insane year. I mean, you look at some of these returns on a monthly basis, 23%, 33%, 52%, 10%. I mean, this is just insane numbers. Numbers that we really didn't even see in 2021. We've not seen these type of numbers in a long time. 2013, we saw those numbers. But ever since then, we've not seen the craziness of what was in 2017. And so could this mean if we have a really good month in August, we may have a correction in September, and then at that point have an insanely wild rest of the year where Bitcoin could see some of these numbers. Like I said, this is the first time, not to mention we haven't had more at this point of the year, right? We've had some in 2019, at the beginning of the year, but we've not seen this type of level, this type of play from April until August since 2017. So it is something to keep an eye on. Historically, on the average, though, you have to consider when you're taking risks, when you're taking trades, when you're taking leverage, be mindful of the setups. And so here's where things have been really for the last, when you take a look at this, this is from the mid-July, July 14th, the last 17 days, we have stayed really between this level of 120,000 and this level of 116,500. Really, nothing has changed. We've seen small deviations from this when we hit 120K up here, and then when we hit down here at 115K. But other than that, we've consistently been hitting these levels time and time again. We're hitting it once again. So it is interesting to see how long we retain this channel. Obviously, the bigger question for a lot of people is where are breakouts going to happen? If we don't carry, and I've talked about this for the last several weeks because we've been here the last several weeks, if this doesn't hold up, this 116K level of support, or we don't retrace back to it, then we're going to go down to this 115K level. If we don't keep that, obviously we've had this tested before, so we may bounce initially and then trade even further down. But this could be very, very drawn out. I mean, mind you, this is on an hourly chart, so this could be very drawn out as we enter the month of August. So just be mindful of that when you're looking at different levels, when you're having your stop losses. Be mindful of where the prior levels of resistance are, where prior levels of support are, because obviously you don't want to completely be liquidated. As we'll take a look at the overall Bitcoin liquidations, it's absolutely insane. But you also want to look at where are the dip buying opportunities, because historically, even though August historically has been a red month, you look at October, you look at November, you look at December, some of the best months for Bitcoin. So could these be dip buying opportunities as you look at these different levels of support, as you DCA your way down? It could be great opportunities because you don't ever know where the bottom is. Could the bottom be here and we stay here in this channel for the month of August and we go back up, retest highs? Do we dip even further down to 112K? I don't think we'll go below 112K. I mean, when you take a look at this, the support levels here at 112K are kind of insane because at that point we're really 110 to 112K. Outside of that, we're going back down essentially to 105 to 107,000. I don't see that happening. I think 110 to 112K would be the lowest if we go down and we see a correctional month that we see in Bitcoin, which honestly would be kind of in line with about a 5 to 8% correction that we've historically seen in August. So it's not out of the ballpark, but we have seen some crazy liquidations. It looks like from the downside, most of the crazier liquidations are gone. The upside, if there is a huge push to the upside, there's going to be some major liquidations, and we're probably going to see a run back to all-time highs if we can go past 120K. We're going to see kind of that euphoric run once again if that does happen. But obviously, the last 24 hours, more specifically the last couple of hours, have been absolutely brutal for the likes of Bitcoin. I mean, when you take a look at the overall total liquidations, in the last 24 hours, longs have been liquidated 170 million. Just the last 12 hours, it's been 160 million. So the last 12 hours have been brutal. The majority of that coming in the last 4. And we're kind of maybe starting to see, maybe we're building out a bottom. It's kind of hard to tell whether 116,500 is going to hold up. It's going to take some confirmation, and we're going to probably see this through the rest of the evening leading into August. Now, there are some great things that happened over the last 24 hours and also some pretty negative things. So obviously the FOMC meeting, there's a big reaction. We talked about it. We saw that dip down to 116K, but we saw this massive seesaw effect where the White House came out and said that they're still planning a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and that would begin in short order. And then you just saw this massive pump once again. So it was a great dip buying opportunity. If you bought off support, you ran all the way back up 118K. It was a great trade. And so we're starting to see these type of seesaw movements being great trade opportunities, especially at the support levels, and then taking profits, setting stop losses, and seeing how much higher we go. We keep rejecting the 119K level. So kind of trading between 116 and 119 has given some great trading opportunities. I mean, if you just briefly look at this, I don't want to spend too much time on it. But if you were to buy every time you bought at 116,500, you would be almost perfect to take profit at 119,000. Buy, take profit. You have another opportunity to buy, boom, another opportunity to profit. And these levels all are 119. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, there's at least almost 10 opportunities in the last 10 days, every single day almost. Buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, because these levels of support and resistance have continued to hold up. But like I said, it's not going to hold up forever, and it's going to be interesting to see, are we going to go up, are we going to go down, and how history repeats itself. So outside of that, this was kind of the big thing. Obviously, the FOMC was not a very positive event, caused a lot of concern for people as far as rate cuts moving into the months of September, and the rate cut happening, the final one happening in the end of the year. Not great outlook for a lot of people, not very, very hopeful for September, October, and December. So interesting either way, but there has been a lot of very bullish things happening regardless of all of this. And that's why I think it's not like there's a crazy black swan event. There's not a lot of, when you remember in 2021, you had this whole Terra Luna situation, you had FTX. There was just a lot of really negative things that kind of made sense that the market corrected. There's nothing right now that makes sense for the market to correct really, really hard. You're seeing Bitcoin treasury buys, almost 30,000 Bitcoin between Tuesday and the likes of Wednesday. The White House releasing its long-awaited report on crypto. This is huge. This was a long time in the making. You have a very bullish SEC. You have Coinbase buying $292 million worth of Bitcoin in Q2. Brian Armstrong comes out and says they're going to be buying Bitcoin on the weekly. You have Michael Saylor planning to raise $4.2 billion to buy more Bitcoin. This is Brian Armstrong saying Coinbase becoming the center of everything. All assets will inevitably move on chain. So they want to have everything in one place. That is Base as a chain more specifically, tokenized equities and more. Coinbase really wants to be the center of it all. And then on top of that, like I said, the SEC is very, very bullish. The SEC announces launch of Project Crypto initiative to modernize security rules, move markets on chain, the chair says. And this is Paul Atkins, the SEC chair, talking about this whole plan to move a lot of things on chain. This is very, very bullish, right? So when you take all this news and you look at all the bullishness combined, there's not anything on the large scale that has cause for concern for Bitcoin to be in a downward trend through the rest of the year. So that's why I say, when you look at some of these levels of support, when you look at some of these different opportunities to buy, it could be great buying DCA opportunities, because historically we've seen the end of the year be really, really good. This was kind of some of the details. This was released earlier today. Paul Atkins talking about some of the details as far as this new crypto plan, as how things are moving forward. Project Crypto, some of the different initiatives that are involved in it. A lot of very, very exciting things, a lot of very bullish things, because this just solidifies the technology advancements that bringing things on the blockchain has, and the positive impact it can have in the world and not just in the United States. So a lot of exciting things there. And one big exciting thing that I want to really leave on is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has held up, interestingly, really, really well, even though we've seen this overall correction. And I still am a believer that Ethereum will go to all-time highs before the end of the year. One of the big things that Ethereum Foundations, one of the senior developers there, Justin Drake, shares a 10-year lean Ethereum vision, 10,000 transactions per second, 100% uptime. So the senior researcher at Ethereum Foundation, this is kind of insane to think. Obviously this is a 10-year plan. This is very, very far. I mean, this is Bitcoin's not even been around. It's a third of Bitcoin's life, if you will. 10 years is a very long time, just in general. And so when you take a look at how this could have an impact on the likes of Ethereum, this kind of sets a precedence for not only Ethereum, but also layer 2s on Ethereum. Ethereum is positioning itself to be the end all in a blockchain perspective as they continue to upgrade, as they continue to progress. That's how they're positioning themselves. Now, this is a 10-year viewpoint, and 10 years is a lot of time for things to go right and for things to go wrong. So it's only going to be a matter of time to see how much of this actually comes into fruition. But I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things for Ethereum. I think there's a lot of bullishness. There's still a lot of accumulation. In fact, some more accumulation of Ethereum than of Bitcoin. So very, very bullish things overall for Ethereum. I think this is a very, very high bar. And obviously 10 years in time will tell whether or not they achieved it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on Bitcoin historically. You look at this chart, what do you see in August? What are your thoughts on how July's gone? Has it been a good month for you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like. Enjoy content like this, consider subscribing. Until next time, guys, stay invested.